across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting shots. Shooting stars. Didn't even get to cross. Too far, get to glass.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Invictus Racing League. We are here for round 8 of Season 2 of the PC side, of course, for the F1 side. My name is JCol, of course, taking you guys through this as always. And, of course, as always, I am joined by one of the quickest drivers that I do know on the PC side. You definitely wipe out the entirety of the field. It is Mr. Dan Vatefield. How are you doing this evening, my good man?
Yeah, I'm doing good, and I definitely can completely destroy this entire grid, but I just choose not to out pity for them. So, yeah, we are here for Britain. It's going to be a brilliant race. It is I think a lot of drivers really do love this circuit, so it's going to be a good one in that regard, and we'll get underway soon.
Yeah, no, we certainly will. It's definitely one. It's a personal favourite of mine, I must admit. There's a few guys, of course, also in the league that are, well, saying that it is their, of course, their home Grand Prix. It is round 8 of, I believe, 13 rounds in the Invictus side so far. So, sorry, 12 rounds. So we have got 5 rounds left to go, and the championship is definitely starting to take shape. Which I'll actually get up on your guys' screen right now, just so at least then we can go straight through it. But Malc is the one that is currently top with 75 points, and Skyzy has now overtaken his teammate, last season's champion of Scopefielder, but Skyzy in second with 59 and Scope with 56. Tommy, I believe, Tommy and Kislyak are the only other guys, because Kangokon isn't actually here tonight. They are the only other drivers that I believe are going to be able to beat Merckx in the championship. Merckx, a little bit of information tonight. He usually runs medium traction control, which I don't understand how he is that quick with medium traction control. But tonight he said he's going for no traction control, so he said don't expect anything. However, well, I'm sure he's picked it up relatively quickly. He usually does, so I'm intrigued to see what his pace is like tonight. But moving through the rest of the field, Kangokon, as I said, is in 6th place with 41 points. Unfortunately, not going to be here tonight, I think, due to PC issues from what happened in, I think it was Austria, or in USA, sorry, last week. Lacray is in 7th with 30 points to his name. In 8th is the Scotsman of Waffle Launcher with 16 points. DC in 9th in the other Haas with 15 points, who's actually here tonight. So looking to try and gain a few more points for the Haas guys. In 10th is SK Fass in the Ferrari with 15 points, tied with DC. Ace Boy in 11th with 14 points. Jasco in 12th with 13, tied with Mysterious as well with 13 points. Sharp in 14th with 11. Maya in 15th with 7 points. Sorry, I was looking at that wrong, really weirdly then. And then, of course, the guys that are still yet to make any, to pick up any points at this present moment is Callow, D Little, and Dreadis. Plop unfortunately has left the league, so we won't be seeing him at all for the remainder of the season. Same with Wham, and same with another two guys. So they, of course, were on 2, 1, and 0 points respectively to the names. And of course, MJ Coop and Yos down in the PC F2 stream, which actually you can catch also on the YouTube, as well as F3 and F4 on the PlayStation side. They are also all live. So 4 streams going on the Invictus channel at the moment. Plenty of action to be watching. Of course, if you're wanting to switch between the streams, you're more than welcome to do so. And then moving over really quickly to the constructors, I'm sure you can probably see how this is shaping out, although it's a lot closer than I was expecting. Merckx and Kangokon in the racing points on 116. 1 point separates the constructors of Scopefielder and Skyzy on 115 points. So very, very close between those guys. I think it's really just a fight between the Racing Points and the Renaults to see who's going to come out on top. However, Merckx, a little bit of a disadvantage because his teammate isn't here. So he's going to be a bit of a disadvantage until, of course, Kangokon does make his return. Hopefully he gets his PC issues fixed ASAP. Tommy and DC in 3rd in the Haas. They're on 65 points. Plop and Kislyak, well, now just Kislyak on 47 points in 4th. Mysterious and Lacray in 5th with 43. A little bit of battle going on between those guys. Jasco and Ace Boy in 6th with the McLaren's 24 points to their name. The Williams of Just Waffle Launcher is in 7th with 21 points. Sharp and Maya in 8th with 19 points. SK Fast and Dreadis in 9th with 15. And then, of course, Callan Delisle still not yet to pick up a point. And of course, with MJ and Joss also not able to pick up a point yet. They are still pointless, and they are hoping to take at least a point for tonight. There is someone in the Red Bull called Undertaker, and I don't know if that is one of the new guys or if that is Callow or Delittle. I have no clue whatsoever. Of course, around here as well. Apologies about that, because I was probably screaming down your ears. But yeah, we haven't actually raced at this present moment around the British Grand Prix So we are, in fact, round here for the first time tonight here, Dan, for the PC F1 side, and I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think that this circuit is a very beautiful one indeed. I was on board with Skyzy and I was getting a rev glitch, and it was definitely me, so I couldn't actually speak properly there. But yeah, it's a really flowing circuit. You're on full throttle about 75% of the way here. So really, this is a high speed circuit. Also, one you have to be careful with the ERS because it is very easy to throw and pretty difficult to charge it up as well. So it's yeah, I think a lot of tracks. A lot of these drivers will really do love this circuit, and hopefully they can make a good race out of it.
Certainly hope so. Well, Mert said don't keep an eye on him tonight because of his him going from medium traction control to no traction control. Well, he's instantly put in a 24.0 as a banker lap, and that, well, that is extremely rapid. I think that was P6, I think, on the PlayStation side, to my knowledge. So, well, Merck's saying don't look out for him tonight. I think we might even just see him shoot up even further in the field than what we were expecting for tonight. Mysterious putting himself into P3, splitting, of course, Tommy and Skyzy. Tommy doing a 24.2, and the Frenchman, Skyzy, second place in the championship, doing a 24.6. A few guys just out doing a lap now, Maya being one of them. Of course, I think, unfortunately for him last week, I think he just had an absolute, well, I think it was just from the start, just did not have a good race whatsoever, and is looking to try and bounce back a little bit for this evening. Of course, Scope Fielder as well is another one. As I said, the massive lap 1 collision that happened, even with the 11 drivers, he was the one of those ones that ended up dropping back, but ended up picking up the places just where it mattered from the penalties as well. Of course, we're riding on board with the Swedish man around, coming around Stowe now, and making his way up towards the, I think it's Club Corner. So he's now coming around the final chicane now, and coming up towards the final corner is Scope Fielder, and it's just up ahead of his teammate with a 24.568 to his name.
Yeah, I think that's got to be the target for Scope Fielder, because of course he is the reigning champion of the PC side, and Skyzy was his teammate last season. He did get the edge on him in that one, as Maya's actually just gone into 4th position. 24.5, very respectable lap time coming out from the Alfa Romeo driver. But Scope Fielder, he's not been on pace as much as we'd have thought he was this season so far. So he's definitely got some ground to make up. He's only got one win when he was winning them left, right, and centre last season. He won in Russia, which was round 3. We're now in round 8. So we've got to pick it up. And I think a good place to start is by challenging his teammate.
Yeah, definitely challenging his teammate would be to start off with. Of course, that's mainly, I think that's the battle that he's mainly focusing on now. I think he may think he's a bit too, far away from maybe trying to go for that title, still like to try and retain it. I mean, it could literally change just in this race alone. If Merck, for example, because he's trying no traction control, if he was to spin and DNF, that's 0 points for the racing point. It then allows Scope and Skyzy to try and make their way back through and try and at least gain more points on the racing point. But also to note, of course, you've also got the Constructors' Championship. As I said, there's only 1 point in between the racing points and the Renaults. So, realistically, I think they're more going to try and help each other out. Of course, they're going to have their rivalry, like they did last season, going into this season as well. But I feel like they're more probably going to be playing the game of helping each other out to at least beat the racing points for the constructors still.
Yeah, that is going to be a key goal of theirs. Of course, they did manage to pick up some points on the racing points, because KangoKon did not make the start of that Grand Prix. He's not made it tonight, which is really unfortunate to see that someone who's got so much pace can really take the fight to the front drivers. He's unfortunately not here. He's only sitting in 6th position in the championship. He's still behind Kivliak, who's not been quick as of recent. He is not here tonight, actually. So yeah, it's disappointing to see that KangoKon isn't here. Hopefully next week, though, he can come back and really take the fight with the Renault cars with Merckx as his teammate.
Yeah, I think he said he was having a few PC issues from last week when he tried to join back in USA. I don't know what had happened to it, but I do remember him saying something about it last week. So hopefully, fingers crossed for himself, he's able to get them fixed and get those issues resolved. But yeah, I mean, as I said, we can't really exactly take away anything from Merck so far. The season that he's had, he's only finished off of the podium, was it once, I think, this season so far? So Merck really has been the dominant one well, since coming into it, even last season, at the tail end of last season, when he did end up joining Invictus, he was still, well, he was giving the Renaults a good run for their money. As I said, even just joining on at the end of the season. So I knew he had the potential, and I'm glad that we're actually being able to see a different winner. I say for a change, but he's absolutely blitzed it this season. So I'm intrigued to see what he's going to do if he has a little bit more competition, possibly coming for next season. Maybe a little bit of a spoiler towards the end of the season, if there is going to be another season on this game. I have absolutely no idea. It's all, of course, dependent on when F1 2021 is also going to be releasing on PC or on consoles or anything like that. So I suppose we'll wait and see. But at the moment, present moment, we are here, of course, for Season 2. Tommy, Skyzy and Mysterious all currently on laps of riding on board with the Frenchman of Skyzy's, who's made his way through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel, now coming down the long hanger straight to make his way up towards Stowe. And let's have a look and see if Skyzy is going to make an improvement on his time. He was 2.5 tenths up on his time, there was the Frenchman, so let's have a look and see what the improvement is going to be for him as he's now making his way around the penultimate corner to come up to club corner of the final corner onto the Sir Lewis Hamilton straight. I've been wanting to say that ever since it's been named that, and Skyzy goes into P3 with a 24.264 to his name. So the Frenchman he's really trying to get in there and make sure that everybody else knows the Frenchman's not here to mess about. He is here to try and fight with these lot.
It's a really respectable time coming out from Skyzy there. He's got Tommy just in front of him. Tommy's about to complete a lap. He's coming through the Vale chicane at this moment now and just about to come through club. He's about 2 tenths up, I'd say, on this lap. Could be challenging Malc. He crossed the line. He lost a lot of time in that final sector. He still did manage to improve his Undertaker. Has crossed the line, and he could be the saviour that Red Bull needs because he's gone into second position on the front row, 124.1.
That is a very, very good time for the Red Bull. As I said, I'm not too sure who Undertaker is. I don't know if he's a new driver or what. But, yeah, I mean, that is a very, very good time. If it is his debut, well, that is a very, very respectable time. There's one person that's still yet to put a time on the board, and that is Lacarate. As I said, he's definitely picked it up as of late in this season, and he's now making his way around Stowe. Of course, Merck just up ahead of him actually just makes his way into the pits, so championship leader not going to make an improvement. But Lacarate, he's now making his way around the Vale chicane and now coming up towards club corner. And let's have a look and see what Lacarate is going to do on his time. It's a 24.3, just slotting in between Skyzy and his teammate of Mysterious. I suppose that would be a very good... Well, it'd be very good for both of the Mercedes to try and make their way up as well, because unfortunately we didn't see them get the double podium in Monza. Mysterious just unfortunately lucked out on that one, but I still feel like we have not seen enough of Mysterious this season, especially considering at the beginning of the season he was up there fighting with Tommy and Merck.
Yeah, he was fighting right at the sharp end of the field, but unfortunately he's just kind of fallen off in recent weeks. He didn't finish in Austria, he didn't start in USA, he's not scored since Italy, which was of course that crazy race. He came from way at the back of the field, and I gotta say I do commend him for that performance, but yeah, it's just not really gone his way this season. Ace Boy, a consistent driver in the points, he's on 25.8 at the moment. He's just coming through the apex of the final corner. We'll see if he can improve. He does improve, and he does improve on his position. It's a 24.8, puts him into 10th position. Not too far behind SK, who I'm glad to see is back. It's been quite some time since we've seen the Ferrari car. He did show up in Austria, but of course there was the week break before that. So yeah, it seemed like some of the drivers that we did see before the break are finally coming back into the league, which is good.
Yeah, no, it certainly is. And at the moment, there's another one that's also making their way back in. Is DC, of course, going on those medium tyres, making his way around the Brooklands now to make his way up to, as I was about to say that, right on board of him, a little bit of commentator's curse, so apologies DC, but it's just about to say he's making his way up towards Cops, but, well, I don't know if he's going to carry on with this lap. It looks as if he is still going to be carrying on, just so at least he gets the time on the board, so I'm intrigued to see what time DC is going to do. But yeah, I think this is the first race within, I think it's 2 to 3 races we're seeing DC back here, so... as I said, there's another one that's a consistent point scorer, just sort of cutting across Chapel Corner. But, yeah, as I said, one that's usually up in the points quite high as well. Again, I feel like we haven't seen too much of him as of late. I mean, I believe, to my knowledge, he's picked up 1 podium this season. But I don't know. I still feel like we do need to see more from DC, especially if they want to try and keep that third in the constructors. Because at the moment they're in a solid place for it. They just need to make sure that they are keeping it up and make sure they're just doing as much as they can to keep that third at least. Maybe if they can within the next couple of rounds, try and even contend with the guys at the top of the tables. As running on board with the Alfa Romeo of Maya just comes across the line to put in a 24.251. So the Alfa Romeo also trying to show why why people also need to try and keep an eye out for him.
Yeah, it's pretty close in general in the entire grid. Aside from DC, who's quite some way off. That is because, of course, he had that big moment. But the entire field separated by 1.4 seconds. The top four, 7/10 in it. So they are pretty close as things go, which is good to see. I don't know if DC is on a cooldown lap or he's pushing again. It seems like he's actually pushing again. He got through Brooklands, which is good to see that he's not made the same mistake that he did last time. Just about to come up to the fast flowing Maggots and Beckett seconds through Maggots, and then to Beckett's coming up towards Chapel Corner now, where Verstappen made the move around the outside on Nico Rosberg in 2016. Seems like he's backed off on this one, and well, I think he was pushing, but yeah, he's backed off on that one. So we've got 3 minutes left to go in the session. Seems like all the drivers are going to be in the pit or on an out lap. Someone who's just started their lap is Skyzy.
Yeah, so the Frenchman, he wants to try and take that pole position. He wants to try and challenge Malc to the best of his ability as well. And Skyzy, well, as I said, so far this season, I believe he's gotten 2 wins to his name. I think it's 1 or 2 wins to his name, sorry. And he wants to go for another one. He wants to try and take that fight to Malc head on. And so far, well, I'd say towards now the second half of the season, to my knowledge, I believe Skyzy has actually outperformed Malc. So I'm intrigued to see if Skyzy is also going to continue that form tonight as he's just making his way up towards Cops now, and see if the Frenchman is going to end up improving on his time. Of course, you also got to take into account the nice tight twisty Maggots and Beckett's, because if you mess that up, then well, that's pretty much a lap that's completely gone. So let's have a look. The Frenchman coming around Maggots, coming through Beckett's now, and let's have a look coming through Chapel if he is up on his time. Is the Frenchman up on his time? He certainly is, a 10th and a half. So let's have a look.
A toe.
Oh my god, yeah, he's got a toe from his teammates. So this is going to be even more beneficial for the Frenchman. Coming around Stowe now, and let's have a look and see if he is going to be, well, he's going to improve on his time from the looks of things. Is it though going to be the first time in the 23s? Let's have a look. Skyzy up towards the line. The Frenchman goes on pole, and it is a 23.965.
He's turned it up completely. Another gear, and I'd expect Scope to get the same treatment. He's just begun up on his lap, and he's got a teammate just in front of him. I'd say down the Wellington Straight is where that toe will be given. Great team play by the 2 QVR drivers. And here it is, Scott Fielder coming off the corner, and now to tuck in the slipstream of his teammate to give him that little bit of extra speed on the straight. We'll see what his improvement is through the first sector. He's down. He is slightly down, unfortunately, through the first sector. He's got to find it all without the toe as well. He's on a 24.4 at the moment. He does slightly improve. He can jump both the Mercedes cars, both of which are on an up lap at the same part of the circuit. We'll see where Scope Builder can put this car on the run up to the flat out corner of Cook. Beautiful to kiss that apex and run it out nice and wide. He's taking that very nicely in through Maggots and Beckett. Comes the Renault car, the reigning champion, who's not had the best season so far. It's validated, unfortunately, at Chapel, who was up on his time as well. So he could have found an improvement through the final sector, but unfortunately for him, he's not going to be getting that anymore. He's got enough time to possibly push again. He's got 40 seconds, but I'd imagine if he's coming into the pits, it's going to be qualifying over.
Yeah, no, I believe Scope's going to go for another lap. I don't think he's going to be happy with that 8th position. He may try and go for outside the top 10, but I don't think that the Swedishman's going to be happy with that position. So he's going to go again. I think he's just needing to gear it up, make sure he recovers his ERS. I believe that is Skyzy going into the pits, yeah. So he is not going to make an improvement at this present moment. Skyzy, the best he's going to get is, of course, that 23.9. Was running on board of SK as he was actually running very, very nicely coming through Maggots and Beckett's. Unfortunately, through Beckett's, though, it was an invalidation. So Ferrari, man, not going to make an improvement. However, there is someone that is on their lap, and they are only just slightly up on their lap. I say that they're nearly 2 tenths up on their time, and that is our current championship leader, Malc, now making his way through Stowe. So let's have a look and see if this Racing Point is going to be on pole position He needs to beat Skyzy's time by just over a tenth of a second, and he was up on that. So let's have a look. Malc making his way around Val now and up towards Club Corner. Let's have a look. Malc, a 23.872 on pole position so far. Of course, there's a few other guys that are yet to do their lap. Tommy being one of them. In fact, he's run out of fuel, so Tommy, no improvement for him. Undertaker is on a lap and coming through Stone now. So is he, as I said, I think this might be his IRL debut. If it is, on his IRL debut, is he going to take it to our current championship leader, Undertaker, around the final corner? He slots it into second position at 23.924. So not only has he actually slotted it into the first row of the grid, he's managed to knock down Skyzy, our second place, our second place currently in the championship. He's now down on the second row of the grid.
Yeah, just brilliant stuff from Undertaker on his first outing here in IRL. Mysterious goes into 4th position. A couple more guys finishing their times. Unfortunately, well, Maya would have gone into 4th position, but he invalidated on his time, as I've just seen Lackery from line 24.1, puts it into 5th. Mercedes 4th and 5th on the grid. Really respectable from the both of them. But that is qualifying over here. Merckx, his first race without traction control. He's slotted it onto pole by half a tenth.
He said don't look out for him. Well, I think he's completely just proven that wrong. I think that's what I think we need to look out for him a little bit more now. Especially with a 23.8 around Silverstone. I can tell you now that is not easy. So he's managed to absolutely blitz that one on pole position. Not by much. I will say not by much. Undertaker, as I said, I believe on his debut, manages to slot it into P2 with Skyzy in 3rd and Mysterious rounding out that second row of the grid. Very close between top 3, all split just under a tenth of a second. And it's actually very, very close in general. Of course, as I said, Mysterious in 4th with 24.1. Lackery only going 0.03 of a second slower behind his teammates. So very, very close between the two teammates. Tommy is in 6th position. Maya in 7th with Scope in 8th. SK Fass in 9th. Aceboy rounding out the top 10. And then you've got Dreadis and DC that are just are starting outside of the top 10. But they get their free choice of tyre. So they are more than likely going to go for the mediums to start off with and try and play a bit of a reverse strategy and hope that maybe a safety car comes out in the middle of the race after the soft runners have already made their pit stops, or if it's the case, they'll be going for the reverse strat regardless if they are going on the set of the mediums. It's just whether they're going to be able to catch up and gain on them on those soft tyres again if they do start outside of the top 10. I'm very intrigued though. As I said, this is going to be Merck's first race with no traction control. I believe we've already had 2 ready ups of Aceboy and Tommy, so getting this one underway very, very shortly. But yeah, I'm very intrigued to see how it's going to go between the rest of these guys and see who's going to come out on top. Of course, as I said, I have no idea on what Undertaker's like, and of course, Skyzy also slotting that up into 3rd. I think the Frenchman's he's gonna gun for it.
Yeah, he's got to get that track position early on and really attack. But they're about to pull off on the formation. We'll see what tyres they are all on. Of course, they are starting on the tyre they qualified on. With Dreadis and DC have opted for the mediums. Of course, when you're outside the top 10, you get a free choice of tyres, and they've gone for the alternate strategy, which isn't too powerful around here, given it is a straight soft to medium. And it's not the longest and most tyre degrading circuit on the calendar. So I don't think it'll provide too much of an advantage, but it will be on lighter fuel on the fresher compound. So they do have that to look forward to if they do get to that point. But safety cars could throw that all up in smoke. It is really just about how events unfold in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose if the safety car comes out on the first lap, I mean, as the predicted pit stop strategy comes out up down the bottom, you could just go from the hards to the end of the race. The hards literally last the entirety of the race. I'm sure if people had to zero stop it, then they would happily take the hards. So, yeah, I mean, if a safety car comes out on the first lap, we'll see a lot of guys go on the hards, or maybe within the first 3 laps, guys that are on the softs. If they don't pit for the hards, then, well, that is pretty much their strategies out the window. So again, that's if a safety car comes into it. If not, then yeah, I'm sure we'll be seeing all these guys inside the top 10 go for a set of mediums to the end of the race. This track, I would say it's more just to do with raw pace over anything else. Maybe, of course, the DRS change you're going to have, especially coming down the Hanger Straight and coming up towards Brooklands. But the majority of this track really is just based on raw pace because, as I said, the strategy is not going to. The strategy is an easy soft to medium, so it's just going to come down to who's going to be the quicker one on the softs or on the mediums. Well, again, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. As I said, don't know anything about Undertaker. Skyzy, he's been looking very, very quick over these last few rounds. Mysterious up into 4th with Lacerate in 5th. They could play a little bit of well, could cause a little bit of something going in towards turn 1. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see Undertaker. Well, he's Mr. WrestleMania in real life, so maybe he can translate some of that skill into F1, but they're lining up on the grid. And we're going to get the 26th lap British Grand Prix underway for the first time in IRL.
We certainly will. So, of course, watching on board with the Racing Point as we're just waiting for these nice fair red lights to make their way on. And there you go. You see the 4, you see the 5 red lights here for round 8. It is lights out, and away we go. Very, very short time on the lights, and there was a massive bit of wheel spin going on well, coming off of the line. But Malc looks like he has held that lead so far. Undertaker in 2nd, Skyzy in 3rd. Skyzy maybe trying to go for it. Oh, he smacks into the back of the Red Bull. I don't think he's got any wing damage though, so he's gotten away with that, I believe, as the Frenchman. Mysterious keeping that 4th position. Lacerate in 5th. Tommy maintaining that 6th position. Although Lacerate, massive moment coming out of turn 4, which is now allowing Maya to then just squeeze his way past. Maya's now up into P4, back up into P5, shall I say. Tommy in 6th, Scope in 7th, Aceboy in 8th, SK Fast in 9th, battling there with Aceboy. Aceboy from 10th on the grid, up to 8th position already. DC up to 10th on those medium tyres, as we see Scope and Tommy both going at it as well, going through Brooklyn's corner, but Scope has to just let Tommy go through that one. Didn't want to try and play it a little bit of, well, try and make it a bit more tricky for Tommy. He needs to try and keep in this DRS train if he wants any chance of being able to catch up with those top 3.
Yeah, I'm quite mystified really how Skyzy came away with that with no damage. It might be slight, but I don't know. I don't see anything visually on that car. I guess we can just see by how much he might be losing time, which is certainly losing a bit of time to Undertaker in front of him. He's charging onto the back of Malc as Aceboy and SK are going wheel to wheel through Stowe, sorry, and well, Aceboy completely overtaken him off the circuit there. I don't think SK is too happy about that one. He's trying to come back at him through the Vale chicane and now towards Club Corner as Lacerate has spun, I think. I don't know how he's done that one there, but yeah, Lacerate's around.
I don't know how he's done that either. That was at the Vale. It was at the Vale chicane, so I don't know how he's gone around there. Tommy all over the back of Maya, trying to go for it in towards turn 3. A little bit of contact between the pair of them, a little bit of wheel bumping, but Maya does manage to maintain that P5 position. Tommy really trying to just make sure he stays behind Maya, or he wants to get past ASAP. I don't know why it says that DRS has been enabled. It always does this for some strange reason, but we are only on lap 2 of 26, not lap 3, so ignore exactly what the graphic says on that left hand side. But yeah, Tommy still just trying to fight Maya, of course, for that P5 position. Very, very close between the pair of them. I feel like it's a battle we haven't really seen sort of too much of this season. Scope starting to drop back from what I'm seeing from the rest of this group. So Scope, I mean, it looks like it might end up turning into into 2 races. It looks like the top 6 are all sort of keeping with each other. Scope might be the one that's leading the remaining 6 on the rest of the grid.
It's just like it's kind of confusing to talk about Scope because on paper he's got the best stats out of anyone as SK. He's actually trying to take the fight back to Aceboy coming up towards Stowe corner. He's going to go off the inside line, and Aceboy could try and pull the same thing he did before. Wheel banging between the pair of them. They are not trying to go down line here. Who's going to take this one as SK's got the inside line for Club Corner, the double apex, but Aceboy holding on to the position there when all this fighting is going to lose some time to Scope. Could have actually just lost DRS to the Renault car, so it's going to be a big disadvantage to Aceboy, who actually might lose the position already to SK, trying to go back up the inside. These two going hammer and tongue early on.
It's got a resemblance of what we saw in USA last week. It's like the back guys were just having a massive battle, and now it's looking like it's happening again. Aceboy under pressure now from SK, who's got that DRS coming down, well, coming up towards Brooklands, and well, SK straight down the inside. That's the move already done. But Aceboy, he's trying to go back around the outside of SK Fast, but I don't think he's going to get a better traction coming out of the corner, and he's having to just stay behind the Ferrari. However, coming up towards Cops, he's going to try and go down the inside in towards Cops. Oh, is this going to end in tears? He's SK Fast trying to hold it around the outside, and very good battling between the pair of them. doesn't, both managing to come away clean, not through Maggots and Beckett's, boys. He's gone through it with Maggots and Beckett's, and that
he's
is
out.
Ace Boy out of the race.
There's hard racing, and then there's being clumsy, and I think Ace Boy, he could have backed out of that one. I think SK lost position. I don't know if he's got damage, but well, we might see the safety car coming out for that one. SK is trying to come back at DC, who made the move through Cop's corner. Not Cop, I keep saying Cop, and he's slid, and he's at the back of DC. Dreadis has now slipped through and got the both of them. So SK really aggressive in this early part of the race, but well, it was really unfortunate that Ace Boy came off worse, and now SK's completely gone off the circuit there.
Interesting thing to note as well is, as I said, Dreadis hasn't actually picked up a point yet this season. So he's looking for his first set of points. Of course, there's now only 11 runners that are left in the race. Dreadis's chances of getting points tonight is looking very high, considering he is now the leading medium runner. However, DC may be trying to put a little bit of a cork in that one, as closing up to the back of the Ferrari, but just having to he's just playing it cautious, just playing it patient behind him for now. Dreadis, however, it looks like he's got the better exit coming out of Brooklyn's corner, and I think he's just sort of going to just try and get away from the Haas driver. Of course, both of these guys are the only ones on the medium tyres at the moment. I'm intrigued to see who comes out on top of that battle. At the moment, you may start to edge it towards DC, but Dreadis, he's doing a very good job at the moment of just maintaining up ahead of the Haas. But meanwhile, we're riding on board with Mysterious, as Skyzy is on the cusp of dropping out of DRS to Undertaker and Malc up in first and second. Skyzy, I think he needs to start getting a move on the Frenchman. He's going to start coming under pressure from Mysterious very soon, as you can see, as DC has gotten past Dreadis now for that P8 position. So DC now back in as the leading medium runner. But Skyzy, yeah, as I said, he's borderline missing out on DRS, and that's going to allow Mysterious and Maya and Tommy all behind to start making their attack.
I think the slightest bit of wing damage can ultimately make the difference, and I think he's got just a tiny bit of wing damage, which is making him lose all this time, because normally he's very quick, and actually it's just about getting that DRS back. So he got off lightly there, but going onto the straightaway, it doesn't seem like he's going to be seeing any issues. Maybe Tommy could be onto the back of Maya. Maya almost dropping out the DRS range of Mysterious. He's very cautious coming in towards Brooklyn. Tommy's a lot more aggressive on the brakes and on the turn-in as well. They have dropped the Scope. Scope lost DRS, and now he's going to be losing a lot of time in this train. Pretty much going to put him in no man's land, because he's got no one fighting him behind, but Tommy still trying to close up to the Alfa Romeo driver. Got to lift just a slight bit through Cox so as to not get a penalty for running too wide, but Maya now without DRS. So what can Tommy do? Coming on the run up towards Stowe. Maya is going to have the DRS. He's not. So Tommy, this is going to be his opportunity to try and get past the Alfa Romeo driver. It's going to be a very long haul if he wants to go for the move. He's not close enough to make the move in towards Stowe. I keep getting Stowe and Cox mixed up for whatever reason, but Maya hold on to 5th position.
Yeah, he certainly does, and a little bit of a battle going on. Elacarate and SK Fast going through Stowe. A little bit of contact between the pair of them. Mercedes versus Ferrari, and SK Fast, well, he's having an absolute drive tonight. I'm sure he's having absolute fun throughout the amount of battles he's having tonight. Unfortunately, obviously with him and Ace Boy out of the session. SK Fast now out of the points at this present moment. But yeah, Tommy, he's really catching Maya, and he really wants to get past him. I feel like we might see him go for something coming up in towards Brooklyn, so he will have that DRS. He got the much better exit coming out of turn 4. So let's have a look. DRS now open for the Brit in the Haas, trying to go for the move down in towards Brooklyn's corner. Maya's going to try and hold it around the outside, but I think Tommy just going to give him that squeeze coming out of it, coming through Brooklyn's now. I think Tommy has got in that position. Maya, though, holding his nose in there, just making sure that Tommy knows he's there, and they're still both side by side. A very nice helicopter shot I've got going on here, coming up towards Cops. Maya, surely not. He's not going to try and go for it down in towards Cops. No, he is not. Maya is just going to sit behind Tommy for now. But all of that battling, Tommy is now 1.5 seconds out of DRS from Mysterious. So really, it's put Tommy on the back foot for going for that move a little bit early, because now Maya's going to have the advantage coming down the hanger straight.
Seems like Maya's just dropped out a little bit of speed to Tommy through Chatham. Right at that dirty air. Tommy without any ERS, he's blinking red lights on board with Maya from my point of view, and yeah, Maya's not close enough to make that move. It's actually gifted Scope a bit DRS helping as well, so now he's back within that second he needs to claw back onto this 3-car battle. for 5th position. Scope really does need a good result here today if he wants to keep his championship hopes alive. Skyzy's still sitting on the bubble as to whether he's getting DRS or not. He's just over a second. I don't know if he's got it. Coming onto the straight here, we'll see if he is close enough. And no, he's not. He's not got DRS on Undertaker in front of him. This could invite Mysterious to get closer to him. He's not close enough to try and go for the move in towards Brooklyn, but maybe through Stowe Corner, that could be where his opportunity lies, because he's now 4 tenths back to maintain this on the run up towards Maggots and Beckett's, and he'll be in a really good position coming down the longest straight on the circuit. And yes, Skyzy just not looking too confident at the moment. He's losing a lot of time to Undertaker and Merc in front.
I wonder if he does have that slight light green wing damage. It's very annoying when that does happen, because you still feel like you've got the pace, but you just don't. And it's very annoying when that does happen. Skyzy, as I said, just going a little bit too deep through Maggots and Beckett's. Mysterious all over the back of the Renault now. Skyzy's going to have to go defensive. Mysterious overtake on, DRS open. Just going to go around the outside of the Renault going in towards Stowe. I think he might have even gotten the move done before getting to the corner. They certainly have. Skyzy down into 4th position now. Mysterious up into 3rd. And I do just wonder if we're going to see a few of these guys make their pit stops soon, because the pit window is around lap 8. And we're of course now going on to lap 8. I feel like we're going to start seeing the pit stops soon. And in all honesty, I think the first one that's got to be in has got to be Skyzy.
Yeah, it might be worth Skyzy changing his wing, even though it will lose him a lot of time. He's just picked a 3-second time penalty in a place. You don't really pick up a penalty. I do suspect it to be that lime green damage where it doesn't feel off, but the car just doesn't turn in as much as it'd like it to. So it's more annoying really than yellow wing damage, because it's just so subtle that it puts you off ever so slightly. It's very annoying to deal with, but losing the position to Mysterious is allowed for Tommy and Maya to both catch up. Scope has been completely dropped. He's really struggling in this race, down in 7th position. It seems like he's just there to pick up pieces if anything happens in front of him, which I'm sure he'd be happy to do, but he needs to get his foot down and start picking up the pace in the next couple of races. We'll see if any of these drivers can maybe try for a move in towards Stowe, but it doesn't seem like anyone close enough. Maybe Tommy, if he gets a better exit than Skyzy. Skyzy, of course, having DRS, going to keep him in this fight, and this DRS train going to be forming. I don't think it'll be breaking anytime soon unless one of them pits this lap.
Interesting thing as well is if Merc does end up winning this race and it's finishing in the way it is at the moment, Skyzy's going to drop down into 6th, as he's actually just been overtaken by Maya and by Tommy. Yeah, Skyzy, as you said, into the pits. So Frenchman, as I said, he needs to be the first one into the pits. He certainly is the first one into the pits. So Skyzy's going to try and go for a massive undercut on the rest of the guys up ahead. We'll have a look though. Does he need to fix his wing? So let's have a look as he was round on board with him throughout the pit stop. No, he does not. So it just must have been the tyres. He just could not hack them anymore. So Skyzy now on a fresh set of medium tyres. Lacquerate also in 11th position coming in behind. Just making sure that he does stay in that, well, stay up ahead of SK and maybe even try and jump up ahead of DC and Dreadis when they make their pit stops later on, or later on in the race, shall I say. But I think this lap we're going to start seeing a lot more drivers make their pit stops. Mysterious probably will come in, Undertaker, Merc, Tommy, they're all going to react to Skyzy making his pit stop this early on. So they're going to have at least a lap fresher tyres on their cars. It's just dependent on who's going to make the most of it coming out of that pit stops, as Undertaker just sort of keep buying this time at the moment, just keeping in that DRS only just to Merc. But from the looks of things, very shortly he could fall out of it.
Yeah, it might be worth Undertaker trying to get a jump on Merc if it is at all possible to undercut. Merc could decide to pit this lap. Maybe the opportunity was gone for Undertaker. We'll see. Merc, is he going to pull in? Undertaker does the opposite. He's going to stay out one extra lap, as does Mysterious. Tommy pulling into the pit lane, as is Maya. Scope's getting made out, and Tommy, clumsy stuff there, picking up a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Just one thing to note, I believe there was a talk of him getting a penalty, possibly for running up before the admin said so. Doesn't seem like anything came of that, and has kept that win from USA, but he's got a 5-second time penalty here. We'll see where they come out in relation to Skyzy.
Yeah, I don't think that's the first time that Tommy's done that either, so he's really putting himself on the back foot even more by doing that. running on board with Skyzy now, just making his way up towards turn 1. You can see the 3 guys making their way out of the pits now. I'm running on board with Mert to see where Skyzy is in relation to him, and Tommy and Maya. Where is Skyzy? Skyzy's sliding up ahead of him, and in fact, he's now brought himself back into that gap with Mert. I think Undertaker and Mysterious staying out, and along with Scopefield. I'm surprised he also stayed out, but along with all 3 of those guys staying out, that's definitely put them on the back foot.
Yeah, the one lap undercut really coming out strong for Skyzy here, and he has got DRS on Merckx. He's also got a pretty healthy gap to Tommy and Maya. Speaking of which, they are fighting coming through Brooklyn, trying to make a switchback move. Is Maya a little bit of a bang to the left? Or, yeah, to the left rear of Tommy's car, but yeah, no damage off the front wing of Maya. He might be trying to go for it in towards Cops. We'll see if he is going to get close enough. Doesn't seem like he's going to hang back for the time being, but now off towards Maggots and Beckett's Undertaker and Mysterious pulling into the pit lane. Expect Scope to do the same as he is, pulling off to the right hand side to pull into the pit lane, the longest probably on the calendar. As coming off the corner now, here comes Maya. He's using up his overtake that he probably charged off just a little bit in the pit lane. He's already turned it off, so he doesn't want to go for a move this time by. He's going to stick back and yeah, just try and maybe catch up to the driver in front.
Yeah, so DC and Dreadis now going to be the 1-2 at the moment. Of course, the guys that started on those medium tyres, leading the race at this present moment. Let's have a look and see what Undertaker comes out in relation to Merck, though. Undertaker just making his way out of the pit lane now. Has he actually got the overcut on Merck? This is very close. I think he's got the overcut on Merck. He certainly has.
Ooh, you can see how close Merck is getting to the back of the Red Bull car, and crucially, Merck is going to have DRS coming down the straight, and you can see he wants to go for it. He's using up his overtake here, and he is now down the straightaway to the left hand side, the inside line in towards Brooklyn. He's got the move. He retakes the net lead of the Grand Prix that Undertaker just about got a sniff of for about half a straight, and it was completely stolen off of him. This has allowed for Skyzy to get himself into the top 3 train, and now in DRS, Undertaker might actually try and take the fight back to Merck. You can see how close he is getting through Cops now.
I think we've got a massive battle on our hands here, Dan. I'm really surprised that Undertaker actually got the overcut on Merckx. I think he was the only driver that got an overcut on everybody else. Scope ended up losing out more time to Maya and Tommy. Skyzy went for the undercut and of course managed to get that gap back down to Merck. Undertaker, I don't know how he's managed to get the overcut on Merck, but he's now going for that move down the hanger straight. He's a lot closer than what he was with previous laps. Undertaker is now in our net race leader. I think we're going to be seeing these two constantly switching back and forth. It's going to allow Skyzy to make his way back into that, and Mysterious, who also went for a bit of an undercut on Undertaker. Sorry, no, he pit on the same lap as Undertaker. So Mysterious and Undertaker, weirdly enough, have actually gotten an overcut on the rest of the field.
Yeah, it's Mysterious did lose out to Skyzy. Skyzy lost the position previously, and then he had to take that one back in the pit lane. But yeah, he managed to hold off on Tommy. Dreaded picking up a 3-second time penalty. Both of the Ultra runners actually now with penalties. Merck doesn't seem like he's close enough anymore to really fight Undertaker here. Undertaker has somehow come out in the lead here, in the net lead.
I think Merckx is just not looking, he's not happy on these medium tyres. I think he was a lot happier on those softs. But these medium tyres, I think, is where it's now going to hinder him. Top 2, of course, just sort of separated by about 1.5 seconds. But yeah, Undertaker, he's now going to just try and lead the, well, I think in the net top 6 to try and just push their way through. And well, at least get an undercut on the guys on the medium tyres. It's also it's very dependent on those top 2 when they're making their pit stop. Around lap 14 to 15 is when they're probably going to do it. Undertaker goes defensive on the inside, going in towards Stove, but moves straight back onto the racing line. So the Red Bull just keeping that lead at this present moment. He does not want to give this one up, as SK Fast picking up a 3-second time penalty at the back of the field as well. Merck, well, he's definitely got a challenge in for him for tonight. I was not expecting Undertaker to be the one that was leading the race. To be fair, I didn't even know that Undertaker was even in the league, as SK Fast and Lacarate both going at it. Once again, going through Stowe. Around the outside goes SK Fast in towards that, and Lacarate is actually back in the pits. Has he got wing damage? He's sped in the pit lane. Yeah.
Yeah. He just completely sped in. He didn't even attempt to brake. Don't know why he wanted to retire, but now finish the race. You do end up taking a nice handful of points, no matter how small it could be. It seems like this train, the top 6 pretty much, in a long DRS train. They can't really fight each other too much. After 8 years leaving the session, he's not happy whatsoever. And yeah, it would be understandable. He's not had a very good race, to say the least, as Maya picking up a penalty. Got a couple penalties actually in the top of the field. 3 seconds for Skyzy, 5 seconds for Tommy, and then 3 seconds for Maya. That could hurt them later on in the Grand Prix. But here it comes, Merckx. He's getting very close, closer than he has been in the last previous lap. Maybe he wants to go for it in towards Stowe. He's using up his overtake. He's going to back off actually. He's not going to try for the move this time by. He might try and get him on the exit, maybe with a swing back move if it's even possible at Stowe. Undertaker dipping his right side tyres in the grass. Merckx running wide. That's got to be our warning.
Yeah, I think the Racing Points definitely picked up a warning from that one, but look how close this has now brought Skyzy and Mysterious back into this, and Tommy as well as Maya. The top 6 well, that have made their pit stops are all scrapping it out for the lead of this race, and Mysterious closing up to the back of Skyzy. We might even see Mysterious go for a move in towards turn 3. He backs out just to make sure he stays behind Skyzy, make sure he takes that DRS and does not lose any time to those top 2, but Skyzy going a little bit of a deeper line going in towards turn 4. We might be seeing the Frenchman at a little bit of a, well, a little bit exposed now from Mysterious. Mysterious closing up to the back of him, but turns off that overtake, and Skyzy turns on that overtake to make sure he stays up ahead of the Mercedes driver. Merckx, by the way, still cannot find a way past Undertaker at the moment, and Tommy and Maya, well, they're just sort of they're just hanging back at the moment. They're just here to sort of pick up the pieces if anything goes wrong within, well, up ahead of these top 4 cars. But you can really see this battle here, even though there's only 12 drivers tonight and 2 of them have DNF'd. Well, this is already a really cracking. It's a very good race so far. Britain always does tend to provide these kind of races, as Mysterious very deep through Maggots and Beckett's, and I think that's going to go. That's his chances of going for a move on the Renault gone. And in fact, Tommy, I think, is eyeing up a move on the Mercedes. He's very close to the back of Mysterious, but again, just cannot get that move done. The DRS train is really hindering these back 2 guys, as Maya's actually, I think, he may have had a little bit of an off as he's dropped back a little bit from Tommy.
Yeah, it's all kicking off the beginning of lap 16. They're just about to come on to Tommy. Really looked like he wanted to go for that move. Speaking of, well, not really speaking of anything, but Dreadis has just come into the pit lane. He's fitted his set of soft compound of tyres. We'll see where he comes out in relation to the rest of the field. He's going to be too far behind Scope, so I'd assume he'd try and get him. But here's Tommy trying to make the move on Mysterious. He's got the move through turn number 3, I believe, Village, or what, I don't really know all the corner names. I think Mysterious might actually lose out to Maya as well here, because Maya looks like he wants to go for the move. Got a little bit more speed coming down in towards Brooklyn. Not going to be close enough to attempt for an overtake, but Tommy moving up to 5th position, Mysterious in 6th. Dreadis just come out 1.2 seconds behind SK. This would be an easy move for him on his teammate.
Yeah, I think Dreadis is probably going to get that move done on SK fast. It's just dependent on where DC is also going to come out, because Dreadis is now on those fresh set of softs as Tommy now with a 3-second time penalty. So 8 seconds the Haas has now gotten to his name. And, well, at this point, he's now probably going to be coming under pressure from Scopefielder, who's yet to pick up a penalty. He's down in 8th place. He's 7.5 seconds behind as DC's actually staying out for another lap. So that's now going to put him on the back foot with that battle against Dreadis, as Merckx and Undertaker both going out for the net race lead, and Merckx going down the inside of Undertaker through Stowe. Undertaker just had to back out of that one, down into 3rd position up, which is a net 2nd position. Undertaker, well, he's really giving that fight to Merckx. Merckx, though, does manage to maintain that, or does take back that lead of the race.
Yeah, so that's a very crucial move for Merckx, but I guess might not be great to overtake, considering there's still got quite some way left in this race to navigate, and well, Undertaker's going to have the luxury of DRS. Oh, Maya's gone off! Maya completely losing the back end there. That was scary for him. He's just had to cut the corner completely. That has lost him so much time. I was following on board with him. I was trying to see if maybe he could fight Mysterious coming into Brooklands, but he looked like he got a little bit too excited on the throttle, stepped out the rear, and then lost all grip, resulting in him almost going for a spin. Had to counter steer pretty heavily to save that one, but luckily for him, he didn't pick up any damage, he didn't hit anything, and he's going to keep going. 1.4 seconds off the back of the train, but the train could maybe be stacked up, because Undertaker could go for a move here. He's using up some of his overtake. He might want to take back the lead lead on Malc. Malc just trying to weave a little bit, lose the toe, and it's going to allow for him to stay in the lead. DC finally coming to the pit lane. I assume he's come up behind Dreadis, who's actually right in the wheel tracks of his teammate. But yeah, it's no longer going to be the net race lead. It is going to be P1 on circuit.
I'm just going to run on board with Dreadis and see if he does get the overtake done on SK. I think SK is actually not even going to try and defend that one, as there is an off that's gone. That is Tommy through turn 1.
On track.
And yeah, Tommy unfortunately now retiring on track. He must have hit the inside curb going through club corner, because that's the only place I can think of that would spin you like that, unless he got a bit too happy on the throttle. So Tommy now out of the race from retiring on track. 4 people now scrapping for that top battle, as Maya was of course having that picking up that penalty and also having that spin going through turn 4. Well, from what was a 6-car battle, 2 are down, 4 more to go.
Yeah, it's in a train. It is a very high pressure situation. Relis picking up a position on SK. DC will make the same move very, very soon. But in a train, it's very high pressure to keep your nerve and maintain your will, really. And everyone does crack. And some drivers, it's just the straw that broke the camel's back. And unfortunately, Maya and Tommy have taken a little bit too much than they could have handled in this race. Maya luckily still able to keep going, but Tommy, well, he just straight up retired. I don't know if he is allowed to do that. He might have some words with the stewards. Some drivers could report him for that, but we didn't really see anything come of it. There was no penalty, no safety car, VSC or whatever, so I think they might let it slide possibly. But yeah, only 4 drivers left in this train. Maya's not really done a good job catching back up.
Interestingly enough as well, down in 7th place now, this battle between Dreadis, SK and DC. DC has not gotten past SK. I was saying that, I thought he was going to go for an absolute lunge up the inside. Just SK had to sort of adjust his turning going in towards the Vale chicane. So DC, well, I was literally just about to say, DC has not managed to find a way past SK yet, but he done that one. I wonder if we're going to see him move going in towards turn 3. SK not going to go defensive on the inside. DC maybe trying to go for it again. SK has to adjust coming through turn 3. DC is really trying to get a move done. As Dreadis, I thought DC would be the one that was going to be the lead soft runner. Turns out Dreadis is, and that is all due to DC staying out for 1 extra lap. Or 2 extra laps, sorry, shall I say, up ahead of Dreadis. DC, well, he's now down in 9th position, and well, he's stuck behind 2 Ferraris. 1 Ferrari giving a bit of a tow and some DRS to the other, as DC now picking up the 3-second time penalty.
Yeah, back at the front, it seems like Mysterious, he could be on for the move on Skyzy, but the DRS train not going to allow for that one for him to go for that. Seems like DC's trying to go for it before even the DRS straight comes. He had a look through Maggots there. I think he's trying to force SK into a mistake to make him lose time, but here he comes now on the straightaway, and he probably could have been closer than he was if he hadn't had to completely stamp on the brakes. So I think it's his own mistake, really undoing it for him there. But he's got a much better run through the corner. He might try to go to the outside line. He's going to brake later than SK. He's trying to hold it. He's got the inside for the next 2 corners here. Club corner, he's going to be on the inside. And SK losing that position, still could try and fight this one back though. He's hanging on in there. It's going to allow for Dreadis to just escape up the road, as SK getting very close to losing the car. But I think he might have to concede that position, not try and fight DC too hard, otherwise it could end in tears.
Yeah, I know DC is obviously on the softer tyre, but that was a very good move for the Hash driver to get that move done, and very crucial as well, because now we're going to have that battle for 7th position with those 2 soft runners. Dreadis, 8 seconds off the back of Scopefield, and of course with a 3-second time penalty to his name as well, as DC having 2 of those. Well, Dreadis, he needs to get a move on. He needs to get 11 seconds up towards the back of last season's champion if he wants a chance of being able to at least get 6th position and gain himself, I think that was 5 points in the standings. But at this present moment, Scope, he's just going to hold his own and he's going to stick in 6th position now, as Skyzy starting to lose touch to those top 2 on the edge of DRS, or losing DRS, sorry, and we're going to see a similar situation as to what we saw in the first few laps. Mysterious behind Skyzy losing touch with the top 2. Undertaker starting to drop back a little bit from Mercked as well. It's literally deja vu with these top guys, as Dreadis and DC going at it, and DC getting the move done on Dreadis. As I said though, DC, he has one extra penalty than Dreadis, so DC needs to get a move on to be able to stay up ahead of the Ferrari driver, the reserve driver, shall I say. Otherwise, well, DC's going to be dropping down a place.
Yeah, it's not what you want to see, but he has set the fastest lap, so he's in a good position. It's like clouds are beginning to form, and only 7 laps to go. I don't think we'll see any rain that will completely change the complexion of the race, but maybe if it's slight droplets, it could potentially put off some drivers here. Skyzy losing a bit of touch to the top 2, and he could be at the mercy of Mysterious. Coming through corner now, you see Mysterious running so wide there. I'd be surprised if he didn't pick up a warning, but he has gained an advantage from that, and well, Skyzy, he's way too far off of the top 2 if he can defend this one, but going deep through Trackle could have allowed for him to stay in that P3, but here comes Mysterious. Mysterious down the straightaway. Is he going to try and make a lunge? Oh, he got very close to going into the back of Mysterious, but he has not been able to make that one stick. Undertaker still trying to put pressure onto the back of Merckx, but no, he's not able to get the move. So the train just doing what a train does and staying in formation. One of these guys got to go for a move eventually.
I think we might be seeing Skyzy's tyres start to go off now, because he's been on these for 11 laps compared to everybody else. He's on the oldest, or he's on the oldest set of tyres, shall I say. Mysterious is looking feisty behind the Frenchman, and I think we're going to see Mysterious go for a move going down the well, coming up towards Brooklyn, shall we say. Overtake on for the Mercedes driver. Skyzy, though, he's just going to bide his time, although you can start to see that red light flashing on the back of that Renault. Skyzy, he's losing ERS. Mysterious still has about 50% in his name. Undertaker as well, just keeping up to the back of Merckx. Merckx just keeping about 60% ERS. They're all around even, sorry, shall I say, but it's just Skyzy. He is starting to lose touch with these guys, and I think we're going to see a battle going on. Mysterious, though, all he's got to do really is just make sure he doesn't pick up a penalty, and at least then he will still get on the podium position, and I believe this will be Mysterious's first podium this season.
Yeah, I think you are right in that regard. Undertaker onto the back of Merckx. He's closer than he's been before, and he might go for the send it to the right hand side, the inside line there, wheel to wheel through mid apex here. Has Merckx just about hold him on the outside. I think Mysterious further back behind is also trying to make a move as Undertaker backs out with that one. Mysterious trying to go around the outside. They come to contact, and Skyzy around Maya into P4. He resets to track, and it's all unfolded there. Skyzy looking like a solid position. Well, he lost out completely on that one. If Scope manages to drop it between 3 seconds, he can pick up P5 in this one.
He certainly could, but that's now, well, that's another 2 down, and we've now got the top 2 battling it out for the lead of the race. Mysterious, I think Skyzy just wasn't expecting Mysterious to still be there, so just turned in as normal. And well, that's now allowed. Well, Mysterious is now in a third. Skyzy, unfortunately, having being sort of touched from Mysterious. I don't know. I feel like that might come down as a bit of a racing incident. I'm not too sure. I don't know if it was the case that Mysterious should have backed out or what, but very, very close between those two. As Undertaker's picked up a 3-second time penalty, so Mysterious is now technically in second position.
Yeah, so how Undertaker. What he's got to do is he's got to try and force Merckx into a mistake to running a bit too wide. I don't know what the warning situation is looking like. He is getting very close to the back of Merckx, but he's not going to go for it this time by. We'll see maybe if he could try attempt for the move, but no, he's that little bit too far back. 3-second penalty to me. He's got slight fresher tyres than Merckx, which could be crucial come the end of the race. He's moving up from his overtake, coming onto the Sir Lewis Hamilton straight. And well, through Abbey here, he could go for it in a bit of an unorthodox position. He's going for it, trying to look up the inside line. He's got the DRS, he's past the detection point, so he's going to have that advantage on the straight. He's really applying the pressure to Merckx here. Now, trying to get a switchback move on him. He's going to slip up the inside line, and he's got DRS, and now he's going to try and pull this gap to Merckx. And well, Merckx, he's going to have an answer for it, and he's going to have the DRS next time over. Undertaker on track, moving into the lead.
So this is where it's going to get. This is where it comes down to. Then it comes down to if Mysterious is going to be able to, because he looks like he's catching up to these top 2 again. But well, yeah, this is looking very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Marked. He's got, all he's got to do really is just stay behind, and as long as he doesn't pick up a 3-second time penalty, then Marked, well, he will win this race. But at the same time, he's now going to have that in the back of his mind, and he's going to want to try and maybe even do it on track. We've of course got just under 3 laps, just over 3 laps left to go now of this, of the 26 laps of Silverstone. And at the moment, Undertaker is the one that is going to take the win of the race, but only on track. By penalties, Merckx will take it, and Mysterious is looking to pick up that second position. He's only 4 tenths away from losing that from Undertaker. So Mysterious, I think he needs to get a bit of a move on, because that is now going to start to come up, or start to come down. It's now about 2.7 separating him, almost 2.8. In fact, now 2.8. Mysterious, I don't know what he is doing, but he is losing time to Undertaker. I think Undertaker, it really is just on a push and making sure he gets the gap to Mysterious and making sure that he does end up finishing in that, at least that P2 position.
Yeah, he's just closing in ever so slightly, but he's now 2.6, 2.7, so he is still just on the cusp. He's dancing really on a knife's edge. He's actually gained quite a bit of time through Brooklyn, and now he's only 2 seconds back. I think that free air is really helping him out here. Oh, sorry, that is no, I changed it to the interval time without even noticing. But yeah, 2.7, so he is, as I said, dancing on a knife's edge. I've had a big glitch with Merck the entire race, and it put me on the worst camera angle where I was right on board with the car. Sounded absolutely disgusting, but here it is now. 5 tenths is the gap between the pair of them. Merck could maybe try for the move here, and no, he's just a bit too far back. He maybe could have used some of his overtake, but I think he wants to save it for the final 2 laps, which are just about to approach us here.
So this is where it's going to come down to. We're coming up towards we're coming up to the penultimate lap now of round 8. At the moment, the gap between Undertaker and Mysterious is 2.6 seconds. It's sort of held that way throughout this entire lap. So Mysterious is doing all he can just to make sure he keeps in that 3 seconds of Undertaker. Mysterious, as I said, he hasn't picked up a podium so far this season. He's looking to at least bag 2nd place. Unless Merck picks up a penalty now, Merck, I think, is going to take the win, and it looks like Mysterious could end up taking 2nd position. Well, I don't want to call 2nd yet, but it is looking like this is what our top 3 is going to be, of Merck, Undertaker, Mysterious. But in what order?
Yeah, so 2.9 seconds is the gap between Mysterious and Undertaker. I don't think he'll be able to hold it on right until the very end here, but possibly if he's just close enough to maybe use up some of his overtake if he's got any in reserve. He's on 21%, so he's pretty similar to Undertaker at this point. The only driver with a distinct advantage is Merck at this point. And of course, with the ERS, he doesn't need to fight Undertaker at all because he's taking the win. And on the final lap, I don't think he would want to, just because he wants to secure that win in the end.
Well, interestingly enough, Mysterious is now out of that 3 seconds. DC picks up yet another 3-second time penalty, so that's now going to drop him behind SK as well. DC, unfortunately for him, the strategy just has not worked. He will still be picking up at least 2 points, but Marked is the one with the fastest lap of the race, and we're now going to be seeing this on this final lap. He's in fact gotten the fastest lap ahead of the 2 guys that are on the soft tyres. So Merck and Undertaker really are pushing as DC picks up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Surely DC is not going to retire. Surely not. I mean, I don't know why he's coming to the pits. Because it's the last lap. He can't set a fastest lap.
I don't know why. I don't quite know why he's done that, but yeah, got a 5-second time for speeding in the pit lane. Yeah, that's a bit of a weird one there. I mean, he can do what he wants, but he's not a lap down or anything, so it's an odd one. He's got his last lap, but yeah. I don't know if he had track position on anyone, but yeah, weird one there.
Well, this is what it's all coming down to. These top 2, as well as Mysterious, he's literally on the border of 3 seconds of Undertaker. It's so close to see. It's so close to call who's going to come in that second position. But at the moment, Merc is going to be the one that is going to be leading this one. Here we go. Undertaker's going defensive in the towards the inside of Stowe. Are we going to see Merc try and go for it on track? Undertaker's just holding that inside, holding that apex. Undertaker, you can see running out of ERS, and here we go. Merc going around the outside of the Veil chicane. Undertaker trying to hold that inside. He's going to have the inside. Is Merc, and I think coming up towards the line, I think Merc, he is going to take that on track, and that is Merc taking another win to his name. Mysterious picks up the fastest lap of the race and second position.
Wow, that was I think Mysterious is going to be thanking Merc after that one for going for that move, because he could have easily have settled for that second position on track and then just take the win on penalties. But he decided he wanted to go for the glory. That cost them both times to Mysterious, and he manages to pick up his his first podium of the season. Really well done to the Mercedes driver for managing to hold on to this position. He was fighting with some of the guys early on in the season, didn't quite have the luck, and he's managed to pull it off here.
And it was only 5,000ths of a second Mysterious improved on that, improved from Merc's time. So Mysterious taking that fastest lap, 13 points to the Mercedes driver's name. And yeah, as I said, he's robbed that by 5,000ths of a second to help ahead of Merc. So our championship leader, well, he's not going to get that extra point for today. DC apparently is going to be the driver of the day, finishing down in P9. Of course, we didn't see too many positions changes throughout the race, but we certainly had an entertaining race nonetheless. Merc, as I said, even on track, he wanted that win. He got that win on track by the skin of his teeth. So Merc will take round 8. Mysterious in second with, of course, Undertaker, I believe on his debut, having that penalty to his name. It's put him on the back foot, but a podium on his debut nonetheless is still a very good result for him. So Undertaker in third position. Very good battle between him and Merc, and I'm hoping we're going to see that happen in the last 4 rounds of this championship. Maya in the end takes 4th position. Scope, no penalty to his name. He did jump his teammate third, literally by a 10th and a half. So Scope in 5th, Skyzy in 6th in the end, SK Fast in 7th, Dread is picking up his first set of points in 8th position, DC in 9th with 14 seconds of penalties after having that speed in the pit lane. Tommy, unfortunately for him, DNF'd in the end, having that spin out of the final corner, and as well as Lacqueray and Ace Boy towards the beginning of the Grand Prix, both of them also retiring from the session. And well, I think we have a new challenger, you know, Dan.
Yeah, it might be a bit too late in the season to really mount a championship challenge. You did mention that maybe some guys to fight next season. Could be some spoils of that. I think Undertaker, if he signs up for season 3, well, we could have a brilliant championship fight on our hands if Merc and him go head to toe.
Certainly, yeah, certainly will. So that is all she wrote, of course, for round 8 of the Invictus Racing League season in season 2. Merc does take the win. That puts him now on 90 points. Skyzy and Scope, where they finish 5th and 6th respectively, of course, to themselves. Well, that's putting them even further behind. I believe, if my maths isn't wrong, I think Merc is now 2 race wins up ahead of Skyzy. So 90 points to Merc's name, and Skyzy picking up 6th position. That's 4 points. Is that 4 points? 5 points, sorry. That's 64. So it literally, it's borderline almost on 2 race wins. So 26 points is what's separating the top 2. And Scope, well, he's going to gain on that a little bit more. He's now 2 points behind his teammates. So there's that battle still going on. But it's only a matter of time before Merc does take does end up taking that championship. He won't be able to take it at France. China, though, in round 10, we may see him take it. Dan, any final words for what we have witnessed for tonight?
Yeah, I think I've got I think Merc, this is probably going to be his best race of the season. It's his 3rd win, which he hasn't picked up since round number 2, despite all of his podiums. He's not been on the top step for a long time. And I think just in terms of where his main rivals finished, Skyzy finished pretty far away from him. Scope Fielder also not having the best of days. Tommy didn't even finish. No points coming back for him. Kiziak didn't start, Anglicon didn't start. So really, this has been the perfect race for Malc in terms of the points he's picking up.
It really has. He's absolutely maximised it. Obviously, other than that fastest lap when Mysterious just snuck that through on that final lap. But, as I said, that's all she wrote for round 8. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. Make sure you guys do check out the social medias for Invictus at InvictusRL and then _ PSN _ Xbox or _ PC for the respective platform, or just at InvictusRL so you can keep up to date with the main Twitter. Invictus Racing League on, of course, Twitch, Instagram, and Facebook. Make sure you guys do check them out because Xbox F1 is usually streamed on the Twitch side. And also make sure you check out the website of InvictusRacingLeague.com if you're wanting to sign up for that one. Of course, there are only 4 rounds left of the season, so there may not be any mid-season sign-ups. However, come towards the end of the season, I said I'm not too sure what's going to happen, but we may see a few guys. Well, if you wanted to check that out and make sure you get up to date as much as you possibly can, make sure you're checking that out. Thank you to everybody for tuning in, and we will catch you guys next week for round 9 around the circuit Paul Ricard.
Let it now.